Good evening, Fernwood. My name is Neil, and thank you for joining me while I do my watch of Mary Hartman, the subversive soap opera from the 1970s. We are heading into the April 13th, 1976 episode. Let's do a little recap. Mary has not been too good around the house lately. She served Tom some basically ice cold oatmeal and coffee. Apparently, she didn't even know how to turn on the stove. Her drug situation, her medication situation, as it may be, wasn't elaborated on too much, but definitely she has been a bit out of it since she started taking all the pills. She's been visited by Kathy, who had Kathy things to say, and Loretta, who filled in Mary on Loretta's deal. But also, there are some new neighbors who are spooky because they have a mother living with two grown sons, and apparently that is the big complaint about that household. When we get to the factory with Charlie and Tom, one of those sons happens to also work there, and Tom approaches him. He is as friendly as can be, but the son, the McCullough son, I should say, is not all that friendly. I described him as terse, and Charlie suspects that he may be working at the factory because of union stuff and may be ready to kneecap Tom. Like it happened to Nancy Kerrigan way back in the 90s, which was, unrelated to this show, but that's the kneecapping reference that I can remember. Tom comes home to Mary in bed. He gets a little bit amorous with her, but Mary passes out in the midst of kisses. Then Tom finds a bill from Mona McKenzie and storms out of the room with then a phone call that comes from Dennis, who, even though Mary really can't understand anything that's happening in the call, Dennis just happens to call to say that he loves her. That was creepy. That is my recap of April 12th episode. Let's go ahead and start us the April 13th episode of Mary Hartman, Mary Hartman.
Mary, Mary, dum 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 dum, dum 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 dum. Mary, hello. Was I expecting you?
No, we didn't have a date or anything, but we're engaged, so I figured that I could come over because I'm really upset and I had to see you.
Sure. But you see, look, Kathy.
Dennis, you don't understand. You don't understand what's happening.
All right. What's the problem?
Mary, she is really wigged out.
What?
Mary, Mary, my sister. I'm so worried about her.
Well, all right. I know that she's been a little upset lately.
Upset. Do you know what she said?
She's coming over here.
She said that you wanted to sleep with her.
No, I'm telling you now that she's coming over here in 5 minutes.
And she made up this incredible soap opera story about these two sisters, one of which who was engaged, and the fiance wanted to sleep with the other sister. But there is no such soap opera. She was talking about real people. She was talking about you, Mary, and me. She was talking about real life people. Real live people. What do you mean she's coming over in 5 minutes?
Trust me, Kathy. Just trust me. I'm trying to get her through a very difficult time.
What difficult time? She's making the time difficult. Is that her?
Yes.
Well, look, Dennis, I don't want to see her because we'll just argue again. So, look, can't you have your meeting somewhere else, like the Capri Lounge or something? I'll hide in the bedroom.
Kathy.
Dennis, please, I really don't want to see her. Please, Dennis, can you just do this one thing for me?
Hello, Dennis. I hope you don't mind me dropping by like this.
No, of course not. But could you keep your voice down because Mary's sister Kathy is hiding in the bedroom.
Oh, I'm sorry. Dennis, I got very upset when you didn't come by after work today. You said yesterday you had something very important to tell me, and then when you didn't show up, I thought, I'm not actually sure what I thought.
Roberta, I apologize. I absolutely forgot. There was something important that I wanted to say to you, and then something more important came up, and I forgot. I apologize. Can you forgive me?
Oh, it's okay. I know how wrapped up you get. That's one of the things I like about you so much. And your honesty. Oh, Dennis, you know, most men would have lied about that. But you told the truth that you just plain forgot. I like that. You want to tell me what it was?
I'd really love to tell you. However, you know how you're always saying a person sometimes needs his own space. Today, I need my own space. Can you understand?
Well, of course I understand. I mean, like they say, it's dead. If you can't give a person his space, what can you give him?
Thank you, Roberta. Thank you. I'll talk to you tomorrow. And I promise I'll tell you, and I won't forget. I won't.
Oh, I want to use your bathroom for just a minute.
Oh.
You know, I'm training myself not to say powder room or little girl's room. Actually, I think I'm getting past the stage where I feel self-conscious about how unself-conscious I feel.
Kathy, it won't be a minute more. Can't see you now.
Oh, that's okay. Wait a minute. Didn't you call me to tell me that you were waiting?
But things have changed.
Oh, things have changed. Is the wedding off?
No, that hasn't changed.
Oh, well then, if that hasn't changed, wait, you said that I had to be here, else that you were just gonna make the day for... What?
You wouldn't believe who is in my space today.
In your space? Oh, I'm not there. I parked on the street. But I don't really care who's in your space. I mean, all I care about is my sister, Kathy. What you doing to her?
Believe me, right now I'm not doing anything.
Dennis, you have threatened to marry my sister if I don't sleep with you. I'm sorry if I don't. It's very difficult for me to discuss this standing in the hallway like this.
It'll get straightened out, Mary. I mean, it's going to be all right. If you just let me take a rain check on our deal.
Well, let me ask a question. Are you saying that you're still planning to marry Kathy unless I...
Wednesday. You be here Wednesday. It's my day off, and then you won't have to worry about Kathy anymore.
Wednesday?
Wednesday.
Will I still have to wait in the hall?
No, you can come inside, but I have to go now. I have to close the door. Good night.
It's not a bad hall.
I think I missed the thing about Mary sleeping with Dennis to avoid the wedding. I don't remember that at all.
Would either of you like a Hostess Twinkie?
Yes, I would. No, thanks.
Well, I'll tell you, Dinah. This is my Charlie's, that's my husband's, favorite recipe and dish. It is called sweet potato pie. And Dinah, I sure would be delighted to write down on individual index cards the secret of this recipe in case any of your television audience at home would like to know it. You know, Dinah...
Hi.
Oh, hi, lover boy. I was just practicing some off-the-cuff ad-lib remarks for my Spot on Dinah show.
It's not different than modern talk
Just
shows.
be so surprised when they see how great you are. That's going to make Dinah's week, honey. Introducing you to national television. You just go on ahead. I'll watch you.
Okay, I'm kind of sick of working with these sweet potatoes. I'll tell you what, I'm just going to kind of discuss with you what I'm going to discuss with Dinah, see what you think. Now, I figured I'd start off the top with kind of, you know, how it is that we came to Hollywood and everything. You know, how we decided on the friendly skies of United, even though you wanted to fly on the plane where they moved their tails for us. And how we decided to take advantage of the special rate by flying at 2 a.m. and bringing our picnic box lunch with us instead of eating the airline's foods.
Yeah, that shows how practical you are.
That's right. Then I figured probably be talking about, you know, what it's been like, what all we're going to do and everything in Tinseltown, you know, like visit the movie stars' homes. And, you know, I'm wondering, does Dinah know that Gregory Peck's backyard, over the fence, you can see Kim Wynn's driver washing the Wynn's car? Wonder, does Dinah know that? I read it in Movie Land Smart Talk. Think I'll tell her. And I figured that, you know, I talk about my first impressions and stuff, you know, because I got to tell you, I'm gonna have a first impression when I see Fredericks of Hollywood for the first time. It's gonna be big.
Oh, I miss
I'll tell you.
Fredericks.
Anyway, I don't know. What do you think? Do you think Don's gonna
Fredericks,
like
the
any of this
lingerie
stuff?
store that I don't think
he's
is there
gonna
anymore.
flip out.
Oh, what you got there?
That's the mail. You never remember to pick up the mail?
Oh, honey, open it up. See what's in it. Quick, there's something.
Why? What should I look for?
Because I talked to Clyde this afternoon and I plumb forgot that he said he was sending a check from the record company.
Oh, he did he?
Yeah, open it up. Come
Well,
on.
then let me see here now. This looks like a free sample from Gloss and Toss. That's
Come
nice.
on, Charlie.
Now, this would be the renewal notice for the Reader's Digest.
Oh, we definitely got to renew this.
And
Okay,
that's
come
a
on,
bill. And that's a bill. And that's a bill. And this just might be it. Because this has got a postmark from Detroit,
Will
Michigan.
you quit reading the postmark and open it up?
Well, honey, I'm just trying to build the tension a bit.
Charlie, there is enough tension in here to power Clute, Texas. Now, come on.
All right, now hang on.
How much? How much?
Oh, wow.
Another $11.42.
Country Records is pleased to enclose your current royalty check made out to Loretta Haggers in the amount of, you ready, honey? $5,208.95. Easy Street, here we come. Meet your new dollars, Loretta and Charlie Haggers. Woo! Honey, watch your legs. Honey, watch your legs. Watch your
Doing
legs.
an old cheerleading job.
Yeah, honey,
Oh, Charlie, can you
Stop.
believe it?
I just don't see. Oh, I bet. Honey, we still owe the hospital some money on that. We owe the doctor, too. We're going to have to pay the loan company. We've got to pay off the rest on the car. We've got to get you some new duds.
Yeah, I'm gonna need some new duds.
See, that'll just about take care of the whole $5,000 right there. Sure does add up, you know, when you actually get around to paying things, doesn't it?
Oh, Charlie, heck, listen, we're not gonna worry about that, because listen, honey, we're gonna get everything paid off, you know, we gotta get paid off and stuff. Then the next check, and the one after that, gonna be gravy, honey. And then we're just gonna spend it like millionaires, like the good Lord knows we're gonna be.
Oh, Loretta, I'm so happy to hear the good news. How much did you get?
Over 5,000.
Wonderful. Now we can all rest easy knowing that little Timmy will be provided for.
Muriel, what do you mean by we?
I said that we'll be able to take care of little Timmy's future with that $5,000.
And Muriel, Loretta is not going to sign over any check to you for a child that we have not even seen yet.
What do you mean? You saw the birth certificate. Isn't that proof?
Well, now, it could be, Muriel. But see, I just so happened to be over at my best friend's house this afternoon, Mary Hartman, and she was telling me about how on 60 Minutes, Mike Wallace did a whole thing on about how anybody can buy a phony fake birth certificate if they want to.
Yeah. That birth certificate might be forged.
How do you like that? I pour my heart out to you. I confess the depths of my agony, the extent of my poverty. I tell you the news of the existence of the dearest child in the world who happens to be your own son. And just because of 15 minutes on 60 Minutes with Mike Wallace, I have suddenly lost all my credibility to this whole evil existence. I say, nerds.
Well, Muriel, I'm sorry for your sorrow.
Sure are, Muriel, sorrier than hell. But heck, Muriel, based on the uncorroborated evidence, you have still shown us no proof.
Well, I have here a whole stack of things for Timmy. I got it right here with me. Looky here. Here's a letter from Timmy when he was in military camp. Now read this. All about how he learned how to use explosives.
I had to pay for that, of course.
Now, but Muriel...
Yeah, well, I got another letter here. This is the most recent letter from military school. He got an A in elementary weaponry.
Muriel, this is letter to Hi Mom from Love Tim. Now, that could be to any mom in the world from any Tim.
All right. And here's a snapshot. Now, don't tell me that's anybody's kid named Timmy.
I'm sorry, Muriel, but I don't see any resemblance between this here kid and Charlie.
Oh, there's a resemblance, all right. Take a look, Charlie.
Muriel, that could be any 14-year-old boy in the whole wide world. And I'll tell you something else. I wouldn't recognize him as my own 14-year-old boy, even if he was bald.
Just that, you see, there's one thing about him that can let you be sure that he's your own son. Now, take a look at him standing there in his bathing suit.
Huh? I'm looking at it. Tell you one thing, that is the ugliest bathing suit I ever did see.
Well, I didn't say you had your taste, Charlie, but he sure has something else of yours. You see? Look closely. Now look very closely, Charlie. Looky.
I'm looking at him from the top of his head to the tip of his 6 toes on his left foot. Oh my God, he's got 6 toes on his left foot.
Charlie, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
He's got 6 toes. Hartman, your son.
I can't believe it. I'm a stepmother.
That's my son. That's my boy, all right. Oh, isn't that a fine-looking boy? Isn't that a fine-looking boy, Loretta?
Like father, like son, honey. Let me see.
All the Haggers men has had, for generations, has had 6 toes on their left foot. It's a long-standing family tradition.
Charlie, did you ever tell Loretta about the extra verse?
What extra verse?
Oh, it's my grandma. My grandma wrote an extra verse for This Little Piggy Goes to Market on account of the family trait. You know, after she said, this little piggy goes wee, wee, wee all the way home, she said, this little piggy cried like bloody murder because his shoes were too tight.
Little Timmy learned it that way, too.
I wish I could have taught him myself. Well, now, how about it, Muriel? When am I going to get to see my boy?
Well, I can't say exactly. He's in Alaska with some friends.
Well, wait a minute. I thought he was in military school.
Well, he's on vacation.
But how soon can I get to see him? Whereabouts in Alaska is he?
Well, I'm not prepared to say, but it's somewhere near Anchorage.
You're not prepared to say where my own flesh and blood son is?
Now, listen. I don't want you to do something that'll take my son away from me. But if you want to start thinking about that sum of money we discussed earlier, then I'll arrange for you to talk to little Timmy on the phone very soon.
Muriel, I don't mean to sound tacky or nothing, but sounds to me like he's coming powerful close to selling that boy.
Now, honey, shh, no, hold your temper, honey. We don't want to make her mad. Muriel, Loretta and me will talk about it. We'll talk about it. How soon do you think I can get to talk to the boy?
Just as soon as you get back from Hollywood and cash that check.
Now,
Hey, honey,
Muriel,
shh. I don't want to take a chance of losing my own son. You think we ought to cash that check before we get to Hollywood?
You know, I was just thinking that we can combine occasions, make a bridal shower for Kathy and a Tupperware party all in one. Then anybody coming to the party can get the present right there. You see, it'll save them the trouble of shopping, and Kathy will get the bonus for giving the party.
Tupperware. That's that crazy giant pepper with the lock on her.
And everything will match, you know? It'll be just like going to Tiffany's and registering, you know, your pattern for your china and your silverware.
Yeah, well, you two go on with your woman talk. I'll be inside watching the wallpaper peel.
Where's the peanut butter?
Pa, you just had your dinner.
Well, if there's no peanut butter, where's Roberta? She hasn't been around here in a long time.
Oh, I'm sure she's fine, Pa. You know, I think she's been very busy with Mary. She's Mary's captain of Strong or Stud. Oh, Stan. That's it. Why, she must be so self-reliant and strong by now. She can't possibly go all to pieces now that Dennis has let her down.
I kind of miss her brother these days. I wish he'd stop by now and then to say hi.
Oh, well, Pa, she will. But don't you worry. There's another girl out there for you somewhere, and someday she'll come along. The girl you love, and she'll be big and strong. The girl you love.
And if she comes my way, I'll do my best to have her stay.
Hey, that was very good. You two gonna form a duet, all right?
Oh, Tom, how are you?
I'm fine. Listen, is George around? He left a note in my car. He said he wanted to see me after dinner.
I'll go get him. It's time for Angie Dickinson.
Tom, I've
That was
been wanting
Police Story.
to talk to you about Mary.
Wait a minute, Martha. Tom, I want to have a little talk with you.
Or Policewoman was the name of the Angie Dickinson show back then.
But I've been around for a long time, and I know what happens when a guy is tagged as dangerous. And that's exactly what you're doing. And I know what happens, I know what that means when that happens. It means you're going to be out on your can, or worse.
Now, what do you mean, or worse?
Martha, why don't you go and water the ferns or something? Listen, Tom, you have a responsibility to your family,
Tom.
which 2/3 of is my daughter and granddaughter.
Yeah, I know that, George. I'm thinking about my family, all right? Look, I'd be no good to my family if I didn't have my self-respect. Now, you're entitled to your opinion. I respect it. But you got to respect my opinion, too.
I grant your right to an opinion. I just say to be a little easy on these things. Don't push too much, because you're going to be in trouble if you keep pressing that mobile homes estate business.
A mobile home?
You know about that?
Yeah, I heard about it, yeah.
Oh, is somebody moving into a trailer? Because that is such a coincidence. Monty Hall gave away one of those just this morning.
Nobody's moving into a trailer, Martha.
Well, if you have finished your business now, I would like to ask Tom about Mary. You know, what's wrong with Mary?
Well, I guess I made my point. Yeah, I'd like to know about it, too.
She's all right.
Well, no, Tom, she is not. She hasn't been herself for days now.
More like weeks. Have you been fooling around again?
Oh, come on, George. Of course not.
Even Kathy says so, and Kathy never notices anything.
Well, Mary's just a little unhappy, that's all.
Well, why is she unhappy? Is it money problems? Is it Heather?
No, nothing really.
She says it has something to do about Dennis and the wedding, but that is just silly. I mean, I know she has something much more important on her mind.
Why did you leave the house? What are you doing here?
Honey, I thought you were lying down.
I wasn't lying down. I was watching Dr. Welby test the reflex action of a patient who obviously had a brain tumor, and then suddenly my ears started burning.
Is that one of the symptoms?
You were all talking about me, weren't you? What were you saying?
Well, we weren't talking about you. We were talking about the union now. We're
Yeah. We were talking about brands, spark plugs and things.
Yes, and Loretta going to Hollywood.
Oh, I know what you were saying about me.
We weren't talking about you, honey.
Then why did you sneak out of the house like that?
I didn't sneak out of the house. I came over here to talk to your father about union business. Now, I told you that.
Why are you lying like that? Why do you say you come to talk about unions and then you talk about me? And if you weren't talking about me, why are my ears burning? Why won't anyone tell me the truth?
Honey.
What are you saying about me?
Honey, look, come on, let's go. Come on, sweetheart. Come on. We'll say it.
Fine.
Now, what's wrong with that woman?
Well, George, we were talking about her. You remember, now that must have her terribly confused to have her ears burn and then tell her that we weren't talking about her.
I must be getting old.
Why, Pa?
The program was half over before I realized that I'd missed Policewoman. It was Switch. It wasn't Angie at all. The pretty one was Robert Wagner.
That is a lot of stuff going on. Let's bring it back to the top of the episode. Dennis had quite a few visitors at his apartment. First, Kathy shows up and complains about Mary and I didn't outline this before the episode, but Mary did use a fictional soap opera to try to outline the situation with Dennis and Mary and Kathy. And then she hides when Roberta shows up because she thinks it's Mary. Roberta is strangely accepting of Kathy hiding and all that. Then Mary shows up and Dennis sends her away because I think he feels that it's awkward to have her over, even though, he's been blatantly hitting on her for a long time. Like during the relationship that he's in, the relationships that he's in. And again, if this were an ethically non monogamous situation, that'd be quite different. But other than Roberta being okay with things, I don't know that I call this ethically non monogamous, like in any way, shape, or form. There's too many moving parts, and most of the moving parts don't really know what's going on exactly. Then Loretta and Charlie have a sweet scene. I loved watching Loretta practice to be on the Dinah show. I believe that would be Dinah Shore at that point. I think she was still on TV doing some cool stuff in the 70s. And a check shows up, which is significantly more than the $11 that they got the first time. Apparently they were excited for their $5,000. I guess that'd be maybe $15,000 now, if I could guess, which is a decent start. It adds up. Then, of course, Muriel shows up to stake her claim on said money. And then we get to a little bit more of a scene where Muriel verifies to Charlie and Loretta that there is an actual son. Of course, they take several steps to prove that, but the 6 toes on a left foot is enough for Charlie, so I guess it's enough for me too. And then finally, the scene at the Shumways, who we really haven't seen in a while. They're planning Kathy's wedding shower as a Tupperware party. Then Tom comes over and has a little bit of union talk that sounds like he is really shaking things up at work, and that could be dangerous for Tom. And the subject does switch over to Mary, who comes over and has a fit because she thinks that people are talking about her. They are. I mean, I don't know that it's inappropriate to talk about her, but it is definitely talk about her. And everyone's worried about Mary, as I am. So that is the April 13th, 1976 episode of Mary Hartman, Mary Hartman. Thank you for spending some time with me, and we will see you tomorrow night in Fernwood.